The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
We're talking about the fact that the government's come out today and said that YouTube is going to be included in that social media ban for under 16s.
Yeah, so this has been on, not YouTube, but it's been on the cards for about 18 months now when it
and
went
our
through
mate
Parliament.
Whipper has been a big sort of campaigner for this. Yeah, for sure. And you can see the point. But with, Snapchat and Instagram and all those sorts of things, TikTok, I understand that that's coming from a good place and trying to protect kids.
Yep.
But YouTube, there's so much stuff on YouTube that is geared towards children.
I know. Well, I can't teach my kids to do anything handy.
No, that's right. So they have to go and download a video from YouTube and how to do it. As do we all. That's how we figure out how to do things now. It's so instructional. I mean, not everything is instructional. It's not all educational. I get that. But surely kids are just going to go on their parents' YouTube account.
Well, it was brought up in our house on Monday night. I remember one of the kids said, "Hey, the band's coming to Sunny." My daughter,
so she's not 16 yet, right?
Yeah.
So she would be impacted by this.
Yeah. So she said, "I've already changed my settings." Was her answer to that. I'm throwing her under the bus here.
According to YouTube, Sunny is a 24-year-old woman.
That's right. So I don't know how First of all, ages ago, I didn't know how they were going to police this, but now you bring in YouTube, which can be super educational.
Yeah, that's right.
And think about the stuff that we would watch. I mean, I watch all kinds of stuff, but a lot of it's to do with what I'm going to cook for dinner.
Oh, okay. I wondered what you were going to say there. Yes.
No, that's RedTube, Nat, not YouTube.
But also, show me a parent who hasn't sat their kid down in front of the iPad with an episode of Bluey from YouTube on there. You know,
yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on YouTube that is, and I'm not saying that, that there's no. I'm not dissing parents at all. I think that, you work incredibly hard, and every now and then you just need to be able to focus on a task, and the way to do that is to give your 4-year-old the iPad for 20 minutes. Good luck. Yeah. I mean, no shade at all. So how do you reconcile that with telling your 13-year-old that they're not allowed to go on YouTube? Please, they've been on YouTube their whole life.
Yeah. I wonder why YouTube's just come into the conversation. It wasn't there previously.
I think it's because, you can comment on things and there are, I guess you can access material that perhaps isn't geared towards under 16s.
Okay.
And the way that the algorithm works to offering up the next, just playing the next video. So you might search up something that's very appropriate, but the rabbit hole could lead you to something that's not appropriate, I guess, is part of the problem.
Yep.
But most kids that I've met aren't accessing YouTube on their own account.
No, they're not.
They're not, are they?
No, they're not. Not in our household either.
All right, we want to know, talk to us about YouTube. Do you think that your kids should be banned from YouTube? Or have you had a conversation with them? Have you thought about how you might even do this if this was a thing? Or are you just throwing your hands up and saying, no, there's no way I can stop them watching YouTube at this point?
Yeah.
It's just part of their life. It's as natural to them as watching TV was to us.
Candace, what do you think about the YouTube ban?
Morning, guys.
Hi, Candace.
I have 2 boys, 4 and 9, and I could not welcome this any sooner. My 4-year-old was really into Spider-Man, for the last 2 or 3 years, like most little boys.
Cool.
And even on a kid's platform and a kid's setting on YouTube, we still found him, the kind of scroll, click, watch, forward, scroll, click. And it ended up landing down a vortex of an algorithm of Spider-Man themed GTA, and which is like Grand Theft
Auto.
Yeah, man, some stuff that's hectic.
And it was Spider-Man being hit, was beating people up, being eaten by sharks and blood in the water, and violence. And I was like, okay, when I heard about this a couple of weeks ago, I actually sat down with my kids and said, we're actually going to start this now for my 4-year-old. So we have access to ABC Kids. We already had things like Disney Plus, Netflix, and so on. The inexpensive ones, so I'm not talking really expensive subscriptions. But so now my youngest only watches Bluey on ABC Kids.
Yep.
There is a ton of stuff on Netflix under the kids' platforms that are now safe for him to watch, and I don't have to ask my 9-year-old to constantly be watching what he's watching if we're in the car long distance or unsupervised if I'm cleaning or whatever. he has access to content that I'm not worried about. And my 9-year-old, he watches things like Roblox and, Minecraft and stuff, which is like those ones where they record themselves playing live.
Yes, yeah.
And they're somewhat harmless, but they still like swear and they bleep it out and things like that. And he knows that swearing isn't appropriate, but for some kids, like, they bring that into the playground.
Yeah.
And so we've already kind of started that ban in our house, and I seriously think it's just like the best thing. I'm all for the educational stuff, and
yes.
Maybe that's a bit of a tricky topic, but in terms of the algorithm, I've taught my kids that it is not wired to help you find things that help you. They are wired to show you things that are not appropriate, and you need to realise that the internet can be a very dangerous place, but also a very great place, and teaching them the right things. But I think I'm so all for it.
Okay.
Yeah. It sounds like you're on the ball about this too. You're making a solid start early, which is great.
It's good with the younger kids because you've already set the standard. And the government doing this sets the standard going forward. It's the ones that have been around all these platforms for a while.
And especially like in your case, so Sunny's the only one of your kids left in that situation. Yeah. And it's like she's got 3 older brothers who all had unfettered access. And it's that's 100%. Not fair. Yeah. That's not fair. It's much harder to enforce. Thank you, Candace. Let's go to Daniel. Hello.
Good morning. How you going?
Good, great, Dan. Okay, talk to us. What's your take on it?
Look, each to their own. I've got a 9-year-old boy with autism who loves YouTube, looks up his Minecraft, Top of Gould. He uses my account now. I get notifications on my phone all day, every day. It drives me absolutely crazy what he actually looks up.
Yes.
But I find it a good way to see what he's actually viewing.
Yes.
And I certainly won't be stopping watching YouTube when the band comes in. He'll still use my account, and I mean, what he's learned from it, for starters, some of the stuff he comes out with absolutely floors us. So,
okay.
Yeah, so what sort of stuff? Like, does he watch, like, documentary stuff?
He loves history.
Okay.
He's right into history and right into other countries, like country flags. Like he can just reel off whatever country flag it is, and I wouldn't have a clue. And it's just stuff that I've never seen him learn it at school, but he comes out with it. And now he places coming from YouTube.
Okay.
And every morning when I wake up, my phone is full of stuff from YouTube, but that's just part and parcel of it.
So I guess, part of that is you do know what he's watching. So because you're getting those alerts, that is, you're at least monitoring the stuff that he's got access to.
That's correct. Well, I had one where he did make a comment on someone's post on YouTube, and it notified my phone straight away. I knew straight away what was said. And I could go straight in, look it up, and it was all just completely harmless, but I got notified straight away.
Yeah, so that's a safety net, isn't it?
That's really good.
If he had his own account, I wouldn't have that control, but because he's under my account, I've got that control.
Yeah. Yep. I like the way you think,
Thanks,
Dan.
Daniel.
Thank you. Last word, Cara from Balcatta. Good morning.
Good morning. How are we?
All right, Cara, what's your take on it?
I'm so against it. We've got 2 little girls, a 6 and 8-year-old, and the only time they're allowed to watch their iPad is on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
And that's our sleep-in day. That's the day Mum and Dad get to have a sleep-in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it buys you some time. Yeah.
Yeah, and they watch YouTube Kids, they watch YouTube Shorts, and they don't watch anything out there that's crazy. They watch little reality TV shows. It's their reality TV show. So they watch kids playing games and unboxing toys and going on these little adventures. And my 8-year-old watches a family from Perth, actually, who she's a huge fan of. And they do little adventures around Perth, and they have challenges, and they do makeovers of bedrooms and, all that kind of stuff.
It's all pretty innocent.
And it is really innocent, and it's also our time.
Yes.
It's our time that we get to have a sleep in.
I know.
So it's only once a week.
Once a week,
which is brilliant parenting.
Putting a limit on that.
Cara.
That's well done.
Because all the parents out there want to be like you and earlier on, Candace in that way.
Yes.
Just putting a line through it all.
That's right. But
none of us have got the follow through.
Cara, as Candace was saying, even on the YouTube Kids platform, once the algorithm started feeding stuff, when you went down that rabbit hole, sometimes the stuff wasn't as appropriate as you would like. Have you encountered anything that hasn't been above board?
Maybe once or twice early doors when we first started watching YouTube Kids. And my husband and I were really, really onto it and made sure that we were in control as such. I watched what they were watching. And we really haven't come across anything that the girls have watched lately.
Yeah.
It is just reality kids. It's
Yeah.
their reality TV.
Just watching
like we
other
watch
kids do
reality
things,
TV.
yeah.
Yeah, which is I find so weird. I mean,
Our producer Amy's kids love that too. They love it. They're just completely bought in. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to take that away from.
Yeah.
They can't. They watch Netflix. They watch Disney.
Yeah.
They've got all of the things. But there's only so much of that.
Yeah.
That they want to watch.
And also you need to sleep in, so I hear you, Cara.
I know, that one day.
Thanks, Cara. Thanks for having your say.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
I've got another story from my holidays. I was in Turkey and I'd done my little group tour and I'd gone back to Istanbul. So I'm on my own for a couple of days. And one of the things that another friend recommended, she said, go to this hammam, which is like a Turkish bathhouse. It's just an incredible experience. And she told me which one to go to. I pre-booked it. So you pre-booked it and paid for it so that I had the time slot. I was booked in for 10 a.m.
Are they like a spa that you would go to and have...
Yes, essentially. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is essentially that, except there's a lot of marble, a lot of opportunities to fall over, and you get beaten up by lovely, smiling Turkish women.
Oh,
and
that's great.
A lot of nudity. You're basically just laid out naked on a slab, but wearing nothing but teeny tiny disposable paper knickers. And it's like...
And you pay for this? What does it cost, by the way?
They scrub you. Well, what I did, which was steam room, the scrubbing, which is like with a rough glove, like they scrub you all over. And then there's a foam massage where they're rinsing you down, and literally layers of skin come off. And then I had a mud bath thing, and then I had a foot massage and a massage and a little like a facial kind of mask. And they wash your hair for you as well.
How much?
$500.
Oh, well,
you know what? I knew that I'd paid too much because at the end of it they gave me a goodie bag full of like all this stuff. I went, okay, I've spent too much money. And you go, how relaxing, how amazing. It was not that relaxing for this reason. About half an hour before I was just sort of at the hotel getting ready to go, just thinking, I'll have to go in a minute, and I get a text message from my house sitter saying, there it is, saying, can you give me a call, please? And I'm like, she doesn't normally do that. That's a bit weird. So I ring her and I'm like, is everything okay? And she said, no, not really. Lewis, my dog, has run away from the dog walker and is on the loose somewhere in North Fremantle. So the dog walker, and no shade on him, he does a great job. Yeah. And Lewis knows him, loves him, he's taken him out many times, and he was walking him with 4 other dogs, which he does. That's not unusual either, and lots of dog walkers work this way. So bundle them into the car, take them down to an off-lead area, which happened to be the oval where your son plays football.
Gil Fraser.
That's the one, right on the river there. It's a beautiful spot. And for some reason, Lewis got spooked and he's just bolted, and he's 12, right? And the poor dog walker said he's surprisingly quick for a 12-year-old as he bolted off. But because he's going deaf, he couldn't even call him. He's got these other 4 dogs, so we can't even chase him. So he was like, his powers were limited. So my poor house sitter is leaving work in the city to drive to North Fremantle to go looking for him, where you can't call him. So... And so this is what I'm dealing with as I'm getting ready to go to the hammam.
There's a lot of big-time roads around there now. You must be panicking.
And previously, this sort of thing has happened occasionally where he has tried to bolt home, and which would have meant, if that was the case, he would have been bolting across Stirling Bridge, which... Not ideal. His truck's bearing down. He has no road sense, so we'll literally just run across a road without even thinking about it. And so I'm like, oh, God. So I get on Facebook, a Freo Massive on Facebook, and our local dog park, Lewis is missing. If anybody sees him, call this number. But then I've got to go to the hammam. So I'm checking into the hammam and I get the call to say he's been found. A lady found him. He'd managed to get he was in the river behind the fence where the construction zone where they're doing the new bridge works on that old traffic bridge. And this lady found him and called the ranger, and the ranger, so he's in custody by this stage. And then they read him his rights. So my friend is like, you have to, they won't release him to me because her number wasn't on the microchip.
Oh, okay. Well, that was good policy.
Great policy,
not really.
Except they made it super difficult for me to authorise. So I'm like, she said they want a photo of you and the dog. I'm like, okay. So I'm like literally in the change room putting my paper knickers on.
What's the time difference?
5 hours. And so I'm like trying to find a photo. I've got a lot of photos of my dog, not many with me with the dog.
Yeah.
And so eventually I found one, I send it through, and then I get called in to be beaten up by the little Turkish women. And so then 2 hours later, because it was a 2-hour experience, I'd paid for the deluxe.
Yeah.
And I come out and there's all these messages saying that wasn't enough. They need you to email him. If it doesn't happen in the next half hour, he'll have to stay overnight at the pound. And it's like the ranger already had to stay behind longer waiting for it. He did it I'm really grateful that he did that. And so, and Lewis was in the pen with a dog that had been seized from a house that was being raided by the drug squad, this big massive dog that was barking really loudly and was really aggressive, and he's like cowering in the corner like I don't belong here.
Well, that dog was on its face.
I'm just
having a good old time
to have a nice relaxing hammam experience. My dog's rampant running through North Fremantle. It's just when you get that call, even though by the time I went into the hammam I did know that he was safe, that he wasn't running across the road or whatever. It's still the tension that's like, it was so difficult. And you're on the other side of the world. There's nothing really that you can do
when you're away.
Oh my God. Getting a crisis call when you're away is, that was worse than the time my cat had the gaping butthole. I've told that story before. That was just, she just needed to go to the vet. It wasn't an emergency.
I've only just started sleeping normally again after hearing that story.
We want to know, have you gotten a crisis call while you've been away? And what was that? Is it that the roof's blown off? Is it that, because I've got dodgy plumbing because I've got old, not me personally, my house, because I've got old pipes. And I thought maybe that might have been the reason. But no, it was my dog was on the loose.
When we were over in Bali earlier on in the year, I was over there for a wedding, but one of our friends from school was there as well.
Yes.
He kept getting a phone call because he had a property in Aussie Park as an old place, and his dad was staying there with some other people.
Yeah.
And the toilet's gone.
Oh.
And the whole sewerage must have been a blockage or something along those lines. And it was on a Friday afternoon when he got this call. So he's trying valiantly to ring 1,000 different people. No one could come over.
No, of course.
They had to dig a big hole, down like a trench down the back, because it's a big block with an old house. And then he was constantly getting the calls from his dad to say, hey,
what am I doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And the only suggestion was you need to go to Macca's and use the toilet for the next 48 hours because we're not back. And I can't get anyone there.
That's... Well, thank God for 24-hour Maccas, is all we can say. Sarah's in Harrisdale. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
Great, mate. Now talk to us about those crisis calls you get while you're away.
So it was actually me making the crisis call to my parents when I was about 20. They decided to go up to Montebello with my two brothers on a fishing trip in winter.
Unreal.
That's where everyone goes, in winter up north. And my boyfriend and I at the time were like, not interested. We'll stay back and do the house sitting. And we lived on a hobby farm, so looked after all the animals. And I loved their wood fire, so I always used to stoke it.
Yeah.
And then as the night went on, the room got hazier and hazier. And then suddenly I said to my boyfriend, what's going on in this room? We went out. So I came back in and realised it was full of smoke.
Yes.
And long story short, the chimney had heated the roof and caused smouldering in the roof. So I called my dad and it was very bad service. He ended up running up a hill and from what he heard, he was just like, call the fire brigade.
Exactly. You're waiting for your dad to run up a hill. It's like, no, the fire brigade is who you need.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You nearly burnt the house down.
Literally nearly burnt the house down. My boyfriend just chucked a heap of water into the roof space and the smouldering seemed to stop. The damage was done and they had to have the entire lounge room roof replaced when they got back. So it was quite an expensive trip for them.
But you were nice and warm at the time, Sarah.
Yeah, that's right. Cozy.
It's winter.
Super cozy.
Amazing.
Thank you, Sarah.
Call.
Yeah, that is a crisis call. But sometimes the crisis call should be to emergency services. Paul's in Dawesville. Morning, Paul.
Morning, guys. How are we?
Good, buddy. Talk to us about that crisis call you got while you're on holidays.
So I'm in Bali. I'm with my wife. We're on our wedding anniversary. I've got my kids there. They both buggered off to do whatever the hell kids want to do. I don't care. We're in a massage place. We're laying side by side, doing the whole lovey-dovey rubbish.
Yes.
And my phone is underneath me in the little hole that you put your face through, right? That washes your beard. Not a problem. it starts ringing. It's my sister, and I'm like, oh, why is my sister ringing me? She's just coming over to feed my pets while we're away. Not a problem. So I'll ignore it.
Yeah.
Rings a second time, ignore it. By the third time, I thought, probably should answer this.
Yes.
Grabbed it, and she's like, I've got a bit of a problem. I said, what's that? She goes, well, your snakes are out.
Oh, my God.
Paul, you've got snakes.
Paul.
Yeah. I've got pythons. I've got 2 carpet pythons, and they're both just on the 6 foot side.
Oh,
So,
hard pass. I'm saying no to that house-sitting opportunity.
Yeah, and what happens then?
so my sister is also deathly afraid of snakes,
Yeah,
and it
right.
took me a lot of convincing to get her to come and actually feed my animals while we were away. And it was a lot of, no. She ended up standing by the front door while she was keeping an eye on where they could possibly be, because at this point we didn't know where they were in the house.
How did they get out? What was the... How did they...
From what I can best tell, when I left and when I fed them, I didn't lock the enclosure properly, and they learned that if they pushed their body against the door, like the sliding glass, and sort of fell sideways, they could slide the glass open. For animals are incredibly intelligent.
Well,
And yeah, so they did the whole Harry Houdini and busted out. I had to get a friend of mine to come down from Yokine to come back down to the house.
Yeah.
To try and track my snakes down.
Where were they? Where were they hiding?
Straight, I had one in the kitchen that was underneath the fridge, like gone behind the fridge for the warmth, and the second one was just in the in a box underneath the enclosure itself, like it just.
I hadn't gone far.
So, yeah. Hadn't gone far, but yeah, no.
The snakes are on the loose.
Oh, my God. It's not a phone call you want.
Oh, it's not. Well, it's also not a situation you want to be confronting if you're not a snake person. Oh, thank you, Paul. How extraordinary. Michelle's in Nedlands. Hello.
Hi, how you going, guys?
Great, Michelle. Okay, what was the crisis call you got while you were on holidays?
Well, I was having a lovely time in Bali, and my son was back home, and I said, how did your football game go? And he goes, I didn't feel too good over after the game, and, I got a few knocks and got a bit crunched. So he said, I drove myself to the hospital and parked my car in emergency parking, walked in, and they checked me out, and they said, you've got concussion and you've also fractured your spine.
Oh!
And he was like, okay, and no wonder I don't feel too good. So with that, they kept him in for 24 hours. I ummed and ahed whether to fly home or not. He goes, no,
I love it that you ummed and ahed. Yeah.
He goes, no, Mum, I'm fine. I feel a bit groggy. And he rang a mate to come get his car and drive him home. And I had a couple of nice extra days, another 2 days in Bali. And then I came home to this poor-looking, pale kid sitting on the couch, not being able to move, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you probably should have come home. Worst mother ever. But you had a great time, so...
I did have a great time. He didn't have such a great time, but he was happy to see me, and I was happy to see him.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
yeah.
He didn't want to alarm. He didn't want to alarm you.
Yeah, and also you didn't want to come home. So
no, exactly. And you know what? He is like that. He's like, oh, Mum, you just have a good time. I'll be fine. I'm not dying just yet.
Yeah, just yet. Maybe another 72 hours.
I know, that's
Things
right.
could be
I
a bit
could hang
dicey.
in there, hanging by a thread. Thanks, Michelle.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.